Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet.
Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Drama on this Tuesday with episodes of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Mandel Kramer, and an episode of Suspense, starring Robert Readick, both of those from Sunday, May 6, 1962, and we'll hear from those very shortly. The Sealed Book from 80 years ago, 1945, The Stranger in the House, an episode of Dimension X entitled Knock, and an episode of The Couple Next Door, Peg Lynch and Alan Bunce. That's all coming up on this Tuesday. This is the 6th day of May, 126th day of the year. We have 239 days left till we get to 2026. The American Bible Society, founded in New York City on this date in 1816, James Gordon Bennett Sr. published the first issue of the New York Herald newspaper. Couple of Civil War stories. Arkansas seceded from the Union on this date in 1861, and in 1863 the Battle of Chancellorsville ended with the defeat of the Army of the Potomac under General Joseph Hooker by Confederate troops under Stonewall Jackson. Chief Crazy Horse of the Ogallala Sioux surrendered to U.S. troops in Nebraska in 1877. In 1882, Congress passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, which banned Chinese immigration for over 60 years. In 1889, the Eiffel Tower opened to the public at the Universal Exposition in Paris, and in 1935, as part of the New Deal, an executive order created the Works Progress Administration, which was later found illegal. The German Zeppelin Hindenburg caught fire and was destroyed within a minute while attempting to dock in Lakehurst, New Jersey. This was in 1937, and we have an extended cut here, restored and speed corrected, so you can hear it the way it was probably actually heard. It was recorded, and here's that 1937 recording.
Now, we've been told that the airship is going to make an attempted landing in the rain, and if that is the case, we're going to have a mighty fine description of it for you, because the men will have a difficulty in keeping footing in the sand, and especially since it's wet. Now, the structure is light and yet so strong in the Hindenburg. From the ground, as the ship passed us, we could see the passenger quarters. They're located just about a third of the distance back of the nose and just about a third of the distance from the keel. They're sort of square in shape and seem to extend the entire width of the ship. There are two decks, A and B, A being the main one and the one where most of the passengers assemble during the passage. Lining the sides of the deck are the observation windows. Now, they're slanted so that it will give anyone in the interior a fine view downward. And no doubt as the ship went over a number of times, people were looking down at the great mass of humanity assembled here in the field. Thousands of people have come out to witness the landing of this great airship. Now, there's a long, wide counter inside the observation section of the ship, and you can look down to the ground below, leaning on a table. And below the table, you see a relief map of the various air routes of the world. So as you travel along in the Hindenburg, you can watch the progress shown up on this map. Deck A is the upper of the two decks, and to get to deck B, it's necessary for you to walk through a foyer and down a pair of stairs. There you find what is really a combined smoking room and lounge. Passengers are always thrilled when Captain Max Priss or Captain Ernst Lehmann will take you a trip to the giant airship. So it's many sections, up and down along the aluminum alloy girders, over the catwalks which lead from one area to another, and then you see a maze of bright metal girders everywhere. And after a walk through the ship, you're ready to rest, where you've covered a great amount of space, and you realize that you have traveled a great distance. Now they're coming in to make a landing of the Zeppelin. I'm going to step out here and cover it from the outside, so as I move out, we'll just stand by a second. Well, here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. We're out now outside of the hangar, and what a great sight it is. A thrilling one. It's a marvelous sight. It's coming down out of the sky, pointed directly towards us and toward the mooring mast. The mighty diesel motors just roared, the propellers biting into the air and throwing it back into a gale-like whirlpool. No wonder this great floating palace can travel through the air at such a speed with these powerful motors behind it. The sun is striking the windows of the observation deck on the eastward side and sparkling like glittering jewels on a background of black velvet. And every now and then the propellers are caught in the rays of the sun, and their highly polished surfaces reflect circles of gold. Our field that we thought active when we first arrived has turned into a moving mass of cooperative action. The landing crews have rushed to the post and spots, and orders are being passed along, and last-minute preparations are being completed for the moment we have waited for so long. The ship is riding majestically toward us like some great feather, riding as though it was mighty proud of the place it's playing in the world's aviation. The ship is no doubt bustling with activities we can see. Orders are shouted to the crew. The passengers are probably lining the windows looking down at the field ahead of them, getting their glimpse of the mooring mast. And these giant flagships standing here, the American airline flagships, waiting to rush them to all points in the United States when they get the ship moored. There are a number of important personages on board, and no doubt the new commander, Captain Max Frisch, is thrilled, too, for this is his great moment, the first time he's commanded the Hindenburg, for in previous flights he acted as a chief officer under Captain Lehman. It's practically standing still now. They've dropped ropes out of the nose of the ship, and has been taken a hold of down on the field by a number of men. It's starting to rain again. The rain had scratched up a little bit. The back motors of the ship are just holding it just enough to keep it from... It's burst into flame. It burst into flame, and it's falling. It's crashing. Watch it. Watch it. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get it started. Get it started. It's crashing. It's crashing terrible. Oh, my. Get out of the way, please. It's burning, bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring mast and all the folks between it. This is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, it's this place is 400 or 500 feet into the sky. It's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the frame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. Oh, the humanity and all the passengers screaming around here. I told you, I can't even talk to people, especially on there. I can't talk, ladies and gentlemen. Honest, it's just like there are massive smoking wreckage. And everybody can hardly breathe and talk and screaming. Lady, I'm sorry. Honestly, I can hardly breathe. I'm going to step inside where I cannot see it. Tony, that's terrible. I can't... listen, folks, I'm going to have to stop for a minute because I've lost my voice. This is the worst thing I've ever witnessed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back again. I've sort of recovered from the terrific explosion and the terrific crash that occurred just as it was being pulled down to the mooring mast. They're still smoking and flaming and crackling and banging down there. And I don't know how many of the ground crew were under it when it fell. There's not a possible chance for anyone to be saved. The relatives of the people who are waiting here, ready to welcome their loved ones that came off this great ship, are broken up. They're carrying them in to give them first aid and to restore them. Some of them have fainted. And the people are rushing down to the burning ship. The fire trucks have all gone down to see if they can extinguish any of the blaze whatsoever. But the terrible amount of hydrogen gas in it just caused the tail surface broke into flame first. Then there was a terrific explosion, and that's followed by the burning of the nose and the crashing nose into the ground. And everybody carrying back at breakneck speed to get out from underneath it because it was over the people at the time it burst into flames. Now, whether it fell on the people who were witnessing it, we do not know. But as it exploded, they rushed back. And now it's smoking a terrific black smoke floating up into the sky. The flames are still leaping maybe 30, 40 feet from the ground, the entire 811 feet length of it. They're frantically calling for ambulances and things. The wires are being humming with activity, and I've lost my breath several times during this exciting moment here. Will you pardon me just a moment? I'm not going to stop talking. I'm just going to swallow several times until I can keep on. I should imagine that the nose is not more than 500 feet or maybe 700 feet from the mooring mast. They have dropped two ropes And whether or not some spark or something settled on fire, we don't know, or whether something poured loose on the inside of the ship, causing a spark and causing it to explode in the tail surface. But everything crashed to the ground, and there's not a possible chance of anybody being saved. I wish I could stop in just a moment and see if I can get my breath again. And Charlie, if you'll fade it out just a minute, I'll come back with more description later.
Herbert Morrison and engineer Charlie Nelson, assigned by WLS in Chicago to cover the arrival of the Hindenburg for delayed broadcast. Now, at the time, radio network policy forbade the use of any recorded material other than that used for sound effects. Morrison and Nelson had no facilities for live broadcast. Even so, the result still became the prototype for news broadcasting in the years that followed. The event had no effect on the policy, recordings not regularly used until after the end of World War II. That's why many times when you hear recordings of these attempts to go overseas and let's go to London and hear what's going on from so-and-so, and it wasn't there because it was trying to be live by a short wave. And short wave at its best was not really good, but it was adequate. And it made things happen. You notice that his voice changed. Many times we hear this squeaky, and we've done our best to not only restore this recording, but also speed correct it to give us an idea of what Morrison's voice actually sounded like. Many of the recordings you'll hear of Herbert Morrison were very speedy and high-pitched, and that was not his broadcast style at all. 36 people killed on this date in 1937 in the Hindenburg disaster. John Steinbeck awarded the Pulitzer Prize for his novel Grapes of Wrath on this date in 1940. At California's March Field on this date in 1941, Bob Hope performed his first of many USO shows. On Corregidor on this date in 1942, the last American forces in the Philippines surrendered to the Japanese. In 1945, Axis Sally delivered her last propaganda broadcast to American troops out of Germany. In 1954, Roger Bannister became the first person to run the mile in under 4 minutes. In this interview, Bannister remembered the feat.
I leapt rather than ran over those last few yards.
Bannister's time of 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds, bested by over 1,700 athletes. The record for the fastest time currently stands at 3 minutes, 43.13 seconds for the mile. That was achieved by the Moroccan athlete Hikam El Guerro at age 24. That was 26 years ago. At a press conference on this date in 1974, President Ford addressed opponents of Vietnamese refugees being resettled in the United States.
I understand the attitude of some. We have serious economic problems. But out of the 120,000 refugees who are either here or on their way, 60% of those are children. They ought to be given an opportunity.
Quoting Ford, he was damn mad at the adverse reaction of the American people to Vietnamese refugees. And 1 year later at a press conference, Ford addressed calls for a congressional inquiry into how we got into and out of the Vietnam War.
I think the lessons of the past in Vietnam have already been learned. Learned by presidents, learned by Congress, learned by the American people, and we should have our focus on the future. And as far as I'm concerned, that's where we will concentrate.
Bottom line, Americans need to stay out of wars that don't, really involve them. The president called the war sad and tragic in many respects. And in my thoughts, we need not get involved in wars at the urging of the military-industrial complex, just like President Eisenhower said. That's what a lot of these wars were like, and Vietnam was one of them. A journey of architects and sculptors unanimously selected Mai Yin Lin's design for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial from 1,421 other entries on this date in 1981. 1994, former Arkansas state worker Paula Jones filed suit against President Bill Clinton, alleging he had sexually harassed her in 1991. In 1996, the body of former CIA Director William Colby found washed up on a riverbank in southern Maryland 8 days after he had disappeared. In 2004, the series finale, Friends, is aired on NBC. The finale attracted 52.46 million viewers, the fourth most watched television series finale in history to that date. I remember covering this story, and it was so weird. 3 women missing for more than a decade found alive in Cleveland on this date in 2013. Kidnapped rape victims Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight rescued from a home south of downtown Cleveland, where they'd been held against their will. They'd gone missing separately about a decade earlier. Amanda Berry escaped, and she contacted police. Here's that call.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance?
I need police.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I've been kidnapped, and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here. I'm free now.
The accused kidnapper, Ariel Castro, was taken into custody. He pled guilty to 937 criminal counts of rape, kidnapping, and aggravated murder as part of a plea bargain. He was sentenced to life in prison plus 1,000 years in prison without the possibility of parole. 1 month into his life sentence, Castro died by suicide by hanging himself with bedsheets in his prison cell. And it was 2 years ago today, King Charles III crowned at Westminster Abbey in a coronation ceremony steeped in ancient ritual and at a time when the monarchy was striving to remain relevant in a fractured modern Britain.
I, Charles, do solemnly and sincerely, in the presence of God, profess, testify, and declare that I am a faithful Protestant, and that I will, according to the true intent of the enactments which secure the Protestant succession to the throne, uphold and maintain the said enactments to the best of my powers according to law.
King Charles, successor to Queen Elizabeth, his mother, on this date in 2023. Among those passing away on this date in history, author-philosopher Henry David Thoreau, King Edward VII of the UK, also writer L. Frank Baum, the Wizard of Oz, actor Monty Woolley, a rather odd duck in his characterizations, trombonist jazz composer Kai Winding, actor Charles Farrell, English actor Wilfred Hyde White, German actress Marlene Dietrich, and Goober, George Lindsay, all passing away on this date in history. Birthdays of those who have gone on before include Say Hey, Willie Mays.
There's a long drive way back in center field, way back. It is
Jack Brickhouse with the play The Legendary Catch in the 1954 World Series, just referred to as The Catch. During Game 1, Mays turned his back to home plate, sprinted toward the center field wall at Polo Grounds, and made an over-the-shoulder grab of a ball hit by Cleveland's Vic Wertz. Jack Brickhouse calling it an optical illusion to a lot of people because of its seemingly impossible nature. Mays' catch wasn't just about the grab. It also involved a precise throw back to the infield that prevented runners from advancing, which was crucial in the Giants' 4-0 sweep of that 1954 World Series. Willie Mays, born on this date in history, along with Orson Welles, actor Stuart Granger, pianist Carmen Caballero, actor Raymond Bailey from Beverly Hillbillies. He was the banker. New York restaurateur you hear referred to a lot on old-time radio shows, Toots Shor, actor Rudolph Valentino, explorer Robert Peary, and psychiatrist Sigmund Freud, all born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
Still making those night moves, Bob Seger, 80 years old today. Mary McGregor, torn between two lovers, 77 years old. Game show host Tom Bergeron is 70.
Welcome back to Dancing with the Stars. The results. Last week, we introduced a new competition featuring some fearless and adorable ballroom dancing kids who turned our cold-hearted judges.
Oh, yeah, from Dancing with the Stars and a bunch of other shows. Tom Bergeron, 70 today. Actress Roma Downey, 65. An Academy Award nomination for The Descendants, and also you know him from ER. George Clooney, 64.
This is stupid. This is stalking or something. Okay, we came, we saw. That's enough. Let's go.
From The Descendants, for which Clooney got an Academy Award nomination. George Clooney, 64 today. You don't know who Scott Colton is, most of you, but pro wrestling fans know Colt Cabana. Cabana still in the back of the scenes at AEW at 45. And this young lady, you remember her from Precious. Gabare Sidhuhe is 42 years old today.
I took that TAB test again. I scored a 7.8. Last time it was 2.8. According to that test, I'm reading at a 7th and 8th grade level. Next year high school. After that, college.
From her Academy Award-nominated performance in Precious, also from Empire, Gabare Sidhuhe is 42 years old. And if the pronunciation is wrong, sorry, that's what I got from the pronunciation guide. WWE's Dakota Kai is 37 from New Zealand and does a good job. And from Terra Nova and the 2019 version of Aladdin, Naomi Scott is 32. Those are just a few of the people who celebrate the 6th day of May as their birthday. If this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the 4 freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
And we'll get started on this Tuesday Classic Radio Theater with a couple of shows from Sunday, May 6, 1962. We'll hear from yours truly, Johnny Dollar, first.
Alert Americans will heed history's lessons. Throughout history, surprise has had a leading role in military disasters. Today, an enemy capable of surprise air attack could leave chaos in his wake. That's why you should be in the Civilian Ground Observer Corps, volunteering a few hours a week to guard our skies. Be a ground observer. Contact your local civilian defense office.
I know we're running a little long already, and we're probably not going to make up much time, but I wanted to make sure you heard that that restored audio that we... It's not the greatest still, but, you know, the not Titanic, the dirigible, the Hindenburg explosion, because you always hear that not as good as that. Okay, we're going to go back 63 years, May 6, 1962, the final season of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This isn't the greatest audio we've had from the show, but Mandel Kramer plays this role so good. He's not quite to the level of Bob Bailey. He gives it his own spin and gives it that same sort of humorous spin that Bailey did. Maybe not quite as serious, but he's good. Mandel Kramer, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, 63 years ago, May 6, 1962, the Burma Red Matter.
Johnny Dollar.
Well, at long last.
What?
I say it's high time.
It is, huh?
Well, isn't it?
I don't know. High time for what?
High time you answered that phone. And listen.
Well?
This is Jimmy Bartell.
Oh, Jimmy.
You know, over here at Mono Guarantee Insurance.
Of course I know. How are you?
Well, what happened to you, Johnny? Where have you been? I've been trying to reach you for about 4 weeks now.
Didn't you try my call service?
Yeah, I tried you. Huh? Oh, no, I guess I kind of forgot about that.
Oh, well, if you had, you'd have found out that last week I was at Grand Canyon, the week before in Corpus Christi, the week before that in Knoxville, Tennessee, and before that up in Boston.
Yeah, sure, gallivanting around the country while I've been sitting here up to my neck in trouble, beating my brains out, working my head off.
Sounds to me like you need a plastic surgeon.
What?
What's the problem, Jimmy?
The Burma Red, Johnny.
The what?
You heard the Burma Red.
Jimmy, are you sure you want me and not the State Department?
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, I'll bite. Who is the Burma Red?
Not who, but what.
Well?
And listen, we carry the insurance, $500,000 worth. You hear that, fella? $500,000.
I am deeply impressed.
And baby, if you can't get it back for us, that's exactly what we're going to have to hand over in cold, hard cash. 500 G's.
Well, maybe I had better get to work on it.
Good. And I don't need to tell you what your commission will be if you do recover it.
What else do you think I'm thinking of?
Then the job is yours, Johnny, and brother, I sure hope that you can find it and get it back.
The Burma Red.
Right.
Just one thing, Jimmy, if you don't mind.
Sure, Johnny.
Before I start gallivanting around the country, as you put it, looking for this thing.
Yeah?
Don't you think that it might be nice if I have some slight idea, some inkling of what it is, this Burma Red?
I told you. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Come on over here and I'll tell you all I know about it.
Okay.
The CBS Radio Network brings you Mandel Kramer in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator,
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Mono Guarantee Insurance Company, Home Office, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Burma Red Matter. Expense account item 1. $1.20 for a cab from my apartment to Jimmy Bartell's office in the Spear Building down on the square. Jimmy's specialty, incidentally, is property insurance, especially where fine artwork is concerned. And in this case...
Yeah, Johnny, 4 solid weeks I buzzed that phone of yours, and what I thought of you for not being there to answer it wouldn't be fit to print.
All right, I'm here now, so stop bellyaching.
But maybe you're too late, fella. He's already gotten in the country with it.
The Burma Red.
That's right, the Burma Red.
Which is what?
I told you, Johnny, it's... Oh, yeah, that's right, I didn't. Now, listen.
I'm listening.
It was brought over here a couple of years ago as part of a collection by some countess or other. Got written up in all the picture magazines.
Do I hear a slight echo?
Echo?
Yes, from the case I had on my hands last week.
I don't know, because I don't know what you had a case of. But listen.
Go on.
Having been a part originally of the Buckingham Collection over there in England, you know, well, as you might expect, it was picked up here by Winkler and Winkler.
The big jewelry outfit down in New York.
The same?
Oh, then I do hear an echo. So it's a piece of jewelry and it's been stolen from them.
No.
The same as the Otara's necklace I recovered last week.
No, again.
For Northeast indemnity. No?
No, Johnny. It's just a single unmounted stone, a ruby. But so help me, it's big enough to choke a horse, and now it's gone.
When did you say it was stolen from them?
I didn't, because it wasn't. They sold it to that wealthy old Mrs. Harvey Larriman Brittingham. Lives out in the edge of town.
Oh, I see.
But 4 weeks ago, somebody neatly chiseled open her wall safe and walked off with it.
Chiseled?
Okay, blew it. What's the difference?
Plenty. Knowing the safecracker's methods can help a lot in pinning him down.
No, the police think they know who did it, all right.
But what do you need me for?
To get that stone back.
But if they already know who did it...
But they couldn't prove it. Sure, the modus operandi, the way the safe was blown, it pointed straight to him and nobody else. But also he was known to be here in town. Who? But they couldn't pin it on him. He had himself a perfect alibi.
Who, Jimmy?
So maybe it was rigged. They couldn't break it.
Jimmy...
But, Johnny, it had to be Oscar Mayfield.
Mayfield?
They held him as long as they could, went through everything he owns, checked out every contact he made while he was here in Hartford. And all that got him was nothing, and not very much of that.
I'll say this. If Oscar Mayfield, the old master, made that heist...
So what could they do but let him traipse merrily on back to New York, where he's been living lately?
Look, Jimmy...
But I figure, despite the police report on all the work they did, I figure that somehow Mayfield got away with that ruby.
Jimmy, I'm inclined to think you may be right. I know Oscar Mayfield. He's clever. I've tangled with him before. And, come to think of it, he made a promise to me once.
Mayfield made a promise?
Mm-hmm.
What was it, Johnny?
That if I ever tried to interfere with him again...
Yeah, well?
He'd see to it that I had a very nice funeral.
To look neat in the heat, look for Daycron on the label, cause Daycron is a man's best friend.
Right, man, Daycron is your best friend when it comes to staying wrinkle-free and neat all summer. Look for Daycron in lightweight suits, handsome slacks, good-looking sport coats, too. You'll stay well-pressed and well-dressed thanks to Daycron by DuPont.
There's just no denying in the clothes he'll be buying. Daycron is a man's best friend.
account item 2. 65 cents for a cab to police headquarters where, after some inquiries, I ended up talking with Sergeant Charlie Holcomb. He wasn't very encouraging.
Sure, Dollar. He was known to be in town. Known to have tried to leave right afterwards. Trademark he left on the wall safe was his. Plain as the nose in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And we pride ourselves on knowing the M.O.s of all the safe men within 1,000 miles.
Yes, I know you do, and rightly so.
But we couldn't pin a thing on him. All the direct evidence we didn't have on him because of his alibi apparently checking out all the way. We simply couldn't hold him on nothing more than suspicion any longer.
No.
Especially with that smart mouthpiece he dragged in. If he tried, he would have sued us from here to Kingdom Come. I mean, if you know Oscar Mayfield.
Only too well, Sergeant.
You know what I mean. I suspect him just as much as you do. But sure we have something definite, some real tangible clue. Well, anyhow, he went back to New York.
Have you notified the police down there?
Sure I am. Lieutenant Singer at the 18th Precinct. And, isn't he an old friend of yours?
Randy Singer? He certainly is.
Well, I haven't heard a word from him, not in over a week now, so why don't you call him? Or better still, go down there and see him. See what goes.
All right, Sergeant. Maybe I'll do that. There was some more talk between us, and Sergeant Holcomb gave me every detail of the job. Told me what they'd found and what they'd done about it. And yes, all the completely unconfirmed evidence pointed straight to Oscar Mayfield. Unconfirmed and unconfirmable evidence because of the man's unshakable alibi. Item 3, 85 cents for a phone call to Lieutenant Randy Singer, 18th Precinct, New York Police Department.
You mean to say you just now found out about that heist?
That's right, Randy. I just found out.
Well, you see, Johnny, if you didn't spend so much time gallivanting all over the place, you might be of some use around here.
You didn't get a promotion for all the gallivanting I did for you last week.
No, darn it, I guess I should have worked that case myself. Well, how about this Mayfield?
You've kept an eye on him?
I've done everything but tap his phone line.
And?
Nothing, Johnny, absolutely nothing. You just didn't get on this one soon enough.
I know what you mean. Unless he's changed these last couple of years, Oscar Mayfield is not one to hold on very long to whatever he's lifted.
Right. And if he did snatch that stone, you can be sure he passed it on and collected for it long before this.
And yet there's always the chance.
So, in the case of a big hunk of rock like that, it means one of two things. The guy who bought it from him is either carting it out of the country far away or having it cut up into little ones that nobody will ever be able to identify.
I guess Mayfield would have passed it along in one big fat hurry.
I know we couldn't find it. Anywhere on or around him, we tried every trick. And I mean trick, Johnny. Until he started to yell at the DA, and the DA started yelling at us. Johnny, I understand. Now, I've just heard this, mind you.
Yeah?
Well, I understand that one of my boys, well, he was off duty, of course, so it was completely unofficial, you understand?
Yeah.
Well, I heard he even went so far as to roll Mayfield one night in the alley back of a nightclub.
What?
Not a sign of that, Ruby.
Randy, if the department ever catches up with these unofficial tricks...
Look, I told you, Johnny, I only heard that. But I know myself it isn't hidden anywhere in his apartment.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Randy, didn't you and your clever little boys completely overlook the Otara's necklace that was hidden in the back of a camera just about a week ago?
Oh, now that was different.
So that I had to get lucky and find it for you?
Okay. So you happen to guess right. For once.
So maybe I better get on down your way and look around for myself. Tell me, where does Mayfield live?
A hotel apartment over at 614 East 49th. But it's no use, Johnny.
Why? Just because he's always gotten rid of things quickly in the past?
No.
Or because you knuckleheads couldn't find the ruby?
No, Johnny.
You haven't been able to hold him on suspicion and make a real investigation?
I mean because by the time you can get here, he won't be.
All right, then I'll grab the first plane I can and... What was that?
Your pal Mayfield has paid up his rent and he's moving out. He's got himself a reservation on a plane to Mexico City this afternoon.
Uh-oh.
By the time you get to his place, he'll be gone.
Randy.
Yeah?
Can't a genius like you come up with some excuse to hold him there for me?
Oh, flattery will get you nowhere, Johnny. The answer's no. I've run out of tricks. Anything else I might try would only get me into hot water.
No, wait, Randy.
Yeah?
Maybe I know a little trick to hold him over.
Well, don't expect any official help from me or the department if you do come down it. What kind of a trick, Johnny?
What's the difference?
Now, look, if you're thinking you're doing something illegal...
Oh, Randy, how
that would only get us in order to clamp down on you.
Don't worry about it. I'll be in touch. Illegal? I don't know why, but I'd suddenly remembered that during my run-in with Mayfield a couple of years ago, there'd been talk about a man who was fencing his stuff. A man who had been only vaguely identified as Hugo. The last name had never come to light. Okay, maybe that name still meant something to him. If so, it justified item 4. $1.26 for a telegram to Mayfield. It read as follows. Urgent, that before you make any deal, you call me immediately at Plaza 3 9970, and I signed it Hugo. And I had them put a rush on it, hoping it would give me some much-needed time. Item 5, $6 for a cab to Bradley Field. Item 6, $10.12 for a plane to New York. And when I got there, item 7 is $5.80 for a taxi to 614 East 49th Street. A smart, good-looking apartment hotel, which is more than I can say for the stuffy uniformed doorman.
Mr. Mayfield, did you say?
That's right. Mr. Oscar Mayfield. Is he still here? Is he in?
Whom shall I say is calling, sir?
Don't.
Don't?
Just give me his apartment number.
Your name, please?
Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, but I must have your name, sir.
It's Dollar. Now, what's the apartment number?
Dollar. Very well.
Oh, no, you don't. Just put the phone down.
I beg your pardon?
It's granted. Now, the number of his apartment.
Not unless I announce you, sir.
Now, look, I am a special investigator.
Oh, you are?
Yes, and if you'd like to call the police and check on me, only I haven't time. Look here. These are my credentials.
And I tell you, sir, that unless I... Oh, I see. Mr. Johnny Dollar.
That's right.
The insurance investigator.
Yes.
I didn't know.
Well, you do now.
Well, nonetheless, Mr. Dollar...
Just give me Mayfield's apartment number, please. Now, what is it?
Well, it's 7G.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll phone that you're on your way up, sir.
You do, and I'll break your neck. 7G, Just in case he remembers what he once promised, I better make sure that this thing is working properly. Here we are. Now, let's see. Oh, yes, 7A. 7... Oh, there. 7E, 7F, and 7G. Well, Mr. Mayfield, I hope you are still here. Mr. Mayfield? Mayfield? Doggone it if he's already flown the coop. He left it wide open. Mr. Mayfield? The well-furnished living room was empty. And so was a kind of study off at one side and a little bar kitchenette beyond it. As for the bedroom in the back, well, as I started through the door, I caught sight of a couple of handbags in front of a chest of drawers. So he was still here. What I didn't catch sight of, though, was the gun shoved around the side of the door into my back.
Just lift them up slowly, Dollar. Slowly, while I see whether you're armed. Yes, here it is. Thank you.
Okay, Mayfield.
Now, over there. Next to the bed. Go on.
Sure, why not? Are you happy now?
Dollar, I made you a promise once.
It's kind of foolish of you, isn't it?
I'm going to keep that promise now.
You going to pull off a shot in a place like this?
This apartment is absolutely soundproof. One of the reasons I selected it.
I see.
Well, are you ready?
Have you tried the mild, kind taste of Kent? You should, because
you feel better about smoking with the taste of Kent. With the micronite filter.
Refines away harsh flavor. Refines away hot taste. It makes the taste of a cigarette mild as a balmy day in the month of May.
Kent is the best for the flavor you like. Kent is the best for the flavor you like.
Yes, Kent is the best for a mild, kind taste. Smoke a carton of Kent without switching. Discover the kind taste of Kent's blend of the world's finest quality tobaccos. Then try your old brand. What a difference in taste.
Kent with the micronite, Kent with the micronite, Kent with the micronite filter. Refines away hot flavor. Refines away hot taste.
You'll enjoy the mild, kind taste of Kent with the micronite filter.
Kind of looks like you were expecting me, Mayfield.
Oh, yes, Dollar, I was. You see, I figured right from the beginning that you might be called in on this case.
Then you do have the Burma Red, the ruby.
Now. Oh, of course not. You should know that I wouldn't hold on to a thing like that. Let's say it's been successfully disposed of.
And why do you hang around here?
Because I'm waiting for...
Yes?
I was waiting for you. To settle my old score with you. When I received that silly telegram, I was certain that you would be here.
No? I pulled a boo-boo. Your old pal Hugo is dead.
I mean that ridiculous number you gave me to call.
Too bad. I thought it was a pretty good idea to keep you trying it until I could get here.
Oh, I'll confess it did make me change my reservation to a later plane. But after all, when I got nothing but a busy signal 8 times in a row, I naturally called the operator.
And she told you?
Yes, that it's a number used for testing. That a busy signal is all it ever gets. Obviously a trick, then. Worthy of you. So I waited for you. And when the doorman, following my explicit instructions, called me, told me you'd arrived, Oh, but I'm wasting time. What's more, I'm expecting someone else. So, Dollar, this is it.
Expecting me, maybe?
What?
Randy!
Just drop it right there, Mayfield. Gently now.
All right, now dollars again. Now sit over there in that chair next to the window. All right, anything you say, Lieutenant.
Oh, Randy, you're like the U.S. Marines. Here, you better keep this gun of his.
You know, I'm just glad you got careless and left that front door open out there.
I thought I heard a door close just before you made your dramatic entrance. But how come, Randy?
What do you mean, how come?
Well, from what you said on the phone...
So what? I'm off duty. Any reason I shouldn't just kind of drop around for a visit?
Oh, I'm glad you did.
You know something, Johnny?
What?
So am I. Now, I'll probably hate myself in the morning for saying this, but I've waited a long time for a chance to return some of the favors you've done me over the years.
That I've done you?
Well, Mayfield, I'm afraid your so-called visit is completely pointless, Lieutenant. You must know very well that you won't find the ruby around here or anything to even remotely connect me with it. Do I need to after the little party I walked in on? Yeah, that's right.
Huh?
You can stop smiling now. Oh, very well. Very well, if you insist on booking me for an alleged attack on Johnny Dollar with a, quote, deadly weapon, unquote. Let us go down to your station house and have done with it.
It's Grand Central Station?
Shall we? Shall we go, Lieutenant? You just stay in that chair, Mayfield, while I...
No, Randy. While I answer the door.
Okay, but leave this one open so I can hear.
Right. Yes?
Yeesh, what a fancy layout this is.
Who are you?
You Oscar Mayfield.
Well, who did you expect to find here? Santa Claus?
Yeah, well, no. Look, Mr. Mayfield, you mind putting down a gun, huh?
Not till I'm sure you're okay. Come inside.
Yeah, sure.
All right, now what's your name?
Yeah, Rosie Gilliam. Look, you can frisk me. I'll clean.
And that package?
Well, you know, it's from the boss. It's from Hugo. It's what you've been waiting for.
Oh, it's from Hugo, huh?
Yeah, sure, honestly. He said I should deliver it and get a receipt, then maybe you'd hand me a thin or a tenner.
Oh, he did, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe I better make sure that it's, whatever he was supposed to send over to me.
Why, do you think I'd meddle with it? Maybe do myself out of these delivery jobs he gives me and pays me so good?
You're on the level?
Yeah, if you hit it.
Well, this contains, and I think it does. By the way, where does Hugo hang out?
Well, how should I know? All I know is he calls me now and then, meets me at some place, and gives me something I should deliver.
I guess you're okay, then. Sit down there while I take a look at this.
Yeah, sure.
We'll just see now.
You know, you're the first Jim to ever open one of those deliveries in front of me?
Am I?
Yeah, you're the very first. Holy jumping, look at that loot.
Where is he waiting to pick up the receipt, Rosie?
I don't know. He only hunts me up when he's ready. Look at all that dough.
What kind of a receipt, Rosie?
He said you'd know what kind. Oh, man, will you look at that? Will you look at it?
All right, I'll write you one.
Yeah, maybe I could have a 20 for bringing it.
I'll give you a receipt to Mr. Hugo. Let's see, how is it now that he spells his last name?
You don't know, Mr. Mayfield?
Well, don't you know?
I should know how to spell Hemperschlag.
Hemperschlag. So that's it.
Hey, now, wait a minute. Listen, you are Mayfield, ain't you?
All right, Randy.
Randy who?
Lieutenant Singer of the police. Come in, Randy.
The police? Oh, no, I've been took. Mr. Hugo will kill me.
No, Rosie, I don't think he'll ever get the chance.
Just take it easy, Rosie.
Oh, no, those cop, I was...
We'll give you all the protection you need after we sign you in at headquarters.
Rosie, whatever your name is, you hair-brained idiot. Just take it easy, Mayfield, and sit down. You too, Rosie.
Well, now, look at all this beautiful money.
Randy, unless I'm awfully wrong, it's payment to Mayfield for the ruby. And if you can locate a Hugo with the unlikely name of Hemperschlag, or maybe you'll save us the trouble, Mayfield. After all, now that we have his name, and who knows, if you talk, maybe the judge won't throw the whole book at you. Well?
Okay, Dollar. I know when I'm licked, I'll talk.
Mr. Hugo Hemperschlag, believe it or not, turned out to be a gem setter for the famous jewelry house of Winkler and Winkler, where he couldn't help knowing about all the important stuff brought into this country, and with the know-how to break it up after he'd arranged to have it stolen. Expense account total? Well, in view of the commission I'll get on this one, forget it. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, here is our star to tell you about next week's story.
Next week, I'll be back with a rather unusual story. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is written by Jack Johnstone, produced and directed by Bruno Zerato Jr., music supervision by Ethel Huber, sound patterns by Joseph Cabibo. Johnny Dollar is played by Mandel Kramer. Also featured in our cast were Paul McGrath as Oscar Mayfield, Al Hodge as Lieutenant Randy Singer, Ivor Francis as Jimmy Bartell, Jack Grimes as Rosie, Santos Ortega as the Sergeant, Mercer McLeod as the Doorman. Be sure to join us next week, same time, same station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Roger Foster speaking. Durwood Kirby's favorite program, The Gary Moore Show, weekdays on the CBS Radio Network.
I know we get the Armed Forces recordings, and they're usually pretty good, but then we get episodes like this, which is a direct off-air recording, and they're not as good as many of them are. But, it was a good show to listen to. From 63 years ago, Sunday, May 6, 1962, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. From that same Sunday, 63 years ago, an episode of Suspense, written by and starring Robert Readick, The Second Door.
Do you know how old the school building in your community is? If it's over 25 years old, the chances are that it's woefully inadequate. Join with the groups in your community working for better school conditions. Remember, better schools build a stronger America.
When Bob Readick was yours truly, Johnny Dollar, his role was very much subdued. He played it as a traditional radio private eye, and it didn't go over as well. Mandel Kramer did a much better job inheriting it from somebody like Bob Bailey. But we're going to hear Readick starring in a story he wrote on radio's outstanding three-hour thrill Suspense. It's entitled The Second Door. This is from 63 years ago today, Sunday, May 6, 1962.
And now, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Perhaps I'm a coward. I don't know. In the years that have passed, I've never told this story to anyone. I've tried to justify my silence by assuring myself that no one would believe me. But sometimes I feel the guilt.
Sometimes I feel it so strongly that I could run out into the street, stop the first man I see, and tell him everything about the White House with the yellow shutters and the small brown chimneys. But then I think, why frighten him? Better that he go on believing that life is real. Life is earnest. And the grave is not its goal.
The Second Door, starring and written especially for Suspense by Robert Readick.
Some time ago, I made arrangements to rent a completely isolated house in the northwestern part of the country. The last leg of the journey there was made in an old station wagon. It was very late at night when we arrived, and I instructed the man who drove it to let me off at the entrance to the long driveway, as I wanted to walk up to the house alone. With a heavy suitcase in each hand, I started up the long, gentle slope toward the house. At a point, perhaps 30 or 40 yards on, the road turned sharply to the left, and up ahead it seemed there must have been a patch where the foliage of the overhanging trees grew less thickly together. For amid the utter darkness, a thin, eerie beam of light filtered down, and in it there appeared to be some sort of a shape. I had the impression that what I saw up ahead in this driveway in the middle of nowhere was a woman in a bright red dress, seated imperturbably in a chair. And suddenly, after I'd taken but a few steps further, this thing that I had been watching moved, definitely, clearly. For an instant, I thought an animal, but whatever it was remained in the filtering of light and continued to move back and forth in a slow, rhythmic pattern, in a sort of to and fro motion that one might set up in a rocking chair.
Hello? Hello? Who is that up there?
I strained my eyes to bring some sense of detail to this apparition, but incredibly, with each step I took toward it in the darkness, the dimmer it became. Until inconceivably, when I finally arrived at the spot where it should have been the brightest, there was total darkness. And there was nothing there. Nothing but the unmistakable sound of a rocking chair, rocking back and forth. Back and forth. Back and forth. After a few minutes, the sound of that squeaking chair slowly faded away, and I made my way onto the house, where I lay awake through the night trying to find some reasonable explanation. As soon as it was daylight, I went back to that spot on the driveway where I found nothing to make the matter more understandable. And suddenly, quite distinctly, there was the sound of a man's voice calling out to me.
Hello there!
And quite nearby, a man stepped abruptly out onto the driveway, having come apparently along a footpath leading through the
Well, I
woods.
see you're an early riser, too. Lovely time of the day to walk about. My name's Edley. Howard Edley. I thought as long as we were going to be neighbors that I'd...
Neighbors?
Yes, I assume you've taken over the Lonergan place.
Well, yes, I have.
Well, I have the place just north of you.
Well, it was made perfectly clear there wasn't another house around here for miles.
Oh, that's true enough, except for mine. Originally, you see, it was sort of a gatehouse, but it was cut off, remodeled, and sold to me.
When was this?
This is our 7th year. Of course, we use it only in the summer.
We?
Yes, my daughter and I. Would you care to walk back with me to my house? I'd like you to meet Marilla.
Tell me something, Mr. Adderley. Your daughter.
Yes?
Does she own a bright red dress?
What a curious question.
Nonetheless, I wish you'd answer it.
Well, I'm afraid I don't know. Why, do you have a preference for women in red dresses?
By no means. Do you have a rocking chair, Mr. Edderley?
A what?
A rocking chair.
You're pulling my leg, aren't you?
No, not at all. Do you have one?
Well, yes. Yes, we do have a rocking chair.
The Edderley house was a one-story building, white with yellow shutters and 2 small brown chimneys. It sat in the center of a moderate-sized clearing. The surface of this clearing was made up entirely of rock, actually of one enormous rock whose top was flat as a sidewalk and level with the surrounding earth.
Marilla!
Yes, Father?
We have a visitor.
Hello. We thought we heard someone drive up last night.
Oh, this is Mr. Saunders, my daughter Marilla.
How do you do?
It's a pleasure, Mr. Saunders. You have no idea how much.
It was strange how attracted this girl and I were to each other from the very first. There was nothing precisely in what she said that would indicate how she felt, but there was something unmistakable in her attitude, her manner, and the expression in her eyes.
How long do you plan to be staying up here, Mr. Saunders?
Well, just until I unwind a little, maybe a month or so. Curiously, the only chair in the room was the rocker that Mr. Ederle had said he owned. I took a step toward it.
No, I wouldn't sit there, Mr. Saunders.
Oh, really? Why not?
Well, it's
Yes?
Well, it's a little unstable. Some of the rungs are loose.
Oh, I see. It seems rather old.
That chair belonged to my mother. She died last year. My father's sentimental about it.
I hesitated to mention it. Well, Marilla, have you prepared that breakfast for me?
Yes, it's in the kitchen.
Well, then I suggest I get to it. Why don't you and Mr. Saunders take a stroll about and get to know each other?
Shall we?
I'll be working when you get back.
Oh, what sort of work do you do, Mr. Ederle?
Dr. Ederle.
Oh, really? Of what? Medicine?
Oh, hardly. Of philosophy.
Oh, now let's go. You two can chat another time.
Doctor?
See you later, Mr. Saunders.
Don't you think you'll be a little chilly?
Do you think so? Well, I'll get a jacket.
Through the window, I could see her open the closet. And there, hanging in plain sight, was a bright red dress. I said nothing to her about it, hoping that in some way she'd get around to mentioning it, or at least let something drop that would help explain what I'd seen in the driveway. But she didn't. We strolled about for some time, and she spoke only of inconsequentialities. And when I asked her something specific about her background, she would respond with a non sequitur or direct my attention to some flower or passing bird. But with all, her attitude remained warm and friendly. I might even say inviting. And despite everything, I felt myself being more and more drawn to her. At one point, I couldn't resist the impulse to reach out for her hands.
Don't touch me.
What?
Please.
Well, I don't understand. Why should...
Don't come any closer.
Marilla, what is it?
We'd better go back now.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing. I'm perfectly all right.
Well, I tried to take hold of your hand. You backed away from me as if I were a serpent. Why?
Please.
Well, why did you do that? You looked absolutely terrified.
I can't explain.
Can't explain? Why can't you explain?
I mean, I don't know why I did that.
What, are you afraid of me?
No.
Well, then give me your hand. Why won't you give me your hand?
Leave me alone, will you? What? Please, just leave me alone.
She suddenly turned and started to run down the path, and at that exact moment, from a distance, we heard a voice calling out, screaming out, rather, as if in anguish. The path branched off just ahead, and I ran quickly in the direction of the scream. It was only a short distance to the point where the path came out of the woods, and I found myself on the cleared land that surrounded the Lonigan house. And there was no one there. Like the previous night when I'd heard the sound of the rocking chair coming out of nowhere, there was now only this agonizing scream for help. Again and again. Like before, the sound eventually faded away, but not before I had the distinct impression that what I had been listening to was the voice of Dr. Ederle. I started back toward his house, but this time circuitously. To make certain that I wasn't seen, I approached from the rear of the house. And keeping low, I scurried up to a partly open window. Marilla and Dr. Ederle were inside.
It was your suggestion that I walk with him in the woods. If you
How could I know that you were going to behave like an infatuated adolescent? Of course he was going to touch you. Batting your eyes, talking in whispers. What kind of behavior is that?
I did no
Of course
such
you
thing.
did. It was outright flirtation. And then running. Imagine that, running.
What else could I have
You
done?
could have used your wits.
That screaming you did for help.
It was the only possible way to distract him. I'd rather he was puzzled over that than have him discover the whole truth from you. Now, I'm going down to his house and see if I can double-talk our way out of this. Don't leave here until I get back.
For a moment, Marilla stood in the open doorway, and then she turned and went to the bend of a long hallway where there were two heavy doors. She unlocked the nearer one and went in. Then, as quietly as possible, I made my way around to the front of the house and down the hallway to the door that Marilla had gone to. It was slightly ajar, and I could see most of the room with no difficulty. At one side, there was an enormous workbench completely strewn over with an infinite assortment of tools and electronic equipment. There were wires, tubes, lights, and meters. Marilla was seated before what at first appeared to be an ordinary television set. But there were curious labels above the 3 knobs that she was carefully adjusting. They read, respectively, latitude, longitude, and altitude. And she flicked a switch, and an image appeared on the screen. It was undoubtedly the Lonergan house. And it was a remarkably acceptable illusion, not only because the image was sharp and the coloring perfect, but because, astonishingly, the house was reproduced in its full 3 dimensions. The object had roundness, depth, perspective. Except for the reduction in size, every detail seemed as credible, as palpable as the original. It seemed as if you could reach in and pick the very flowers near the lawn. I stood for a time watching this, fascinated by it, until Dr. Eddley came into view, crossing the lawn, approaching the porch.
Mr. Saunders! Mr. Saunders, are you at home?
His voice was entirely free of the usual amplification sound of electronic speakers. It was as clear as the miniature image of him that walked up to the door and knocked. And getting no answer, he went back toward the woods. At this point, Marilla must have heard me move slightly, for she suddenly turned, and in one motion she clicked off the set and came to her feet. That device, did he invent that?
You mustn't stay here. He's coming right back.
Well, there doesn't even seem to be an electronic speaker in that thing. Are there cameras, microphones, or does he merely twist those knobs?
Oh, if he finds out that you've seen
Well,
it...
why is he keeping this a secret?
It's not perfected.
Is that true?
Yes.
Marilla, listen to me. You seem to be frightened by something that's going on around here. I know that I am, and I want to know what it is. Now, I also want to help you. There isn't much I can do if you won't tell me the truth. Now, what's in that other locked room? What? In the room next to this.
My father works in there.
Well, I'm sure he does, but at what? What does he work at in there?
I can't tell you that.
Why not?
Because it's really his affair.
But you do know what it is.
Yes.
You're going to unlock that door, Marilla. And you are going to unlock it now.
Oh, please.
Well, go on, Marilla. Why don't you oblige the gentleman? When a man is as curious about something as all that, I don't think he should be kept in frustration. Marilla, give me the key.
Father, what are you
Give it
doing?
to me. Now, Mr. Saunders, if you'll just step this way.
We walked to the second door where Dr. Eddley inserted the key in the lock and opened it. I looked into a very small room, the floor, walls, and ceiling of which were made entirely of frosted glass. And there was nothing else. It was empty. On the outside of the door, there was a panel, which he slid aside to reveal 3 knobs like the others I had seen, similarly labeled latitude, longitude, and altitude.
Actually, Mr. Saunders, there are microscopic perforations in the glass to admit air. Now, would you be good enough to give me the name of a place some distance away?
A place?
Anywhere you choose, anywhere on Earth.
Someplace I would like to see?
No, Mr. Saunders. Someplace you'd like to be.
I had no intention of stepping inside Dr. Eddley's glass cubicle, but I was curious to see what might appear on the screens. And I gave him the general location of the New England farm where I was born. Alongside on the hallway, there was a series of bookshelves. It held a selection of highly detailed atlases and charts, and from one of these we determined the exact location of the farm. Then he carefully adjusted the knobs. I watched from the doorway as the glass began to glow with colored light. And then, suddenly before me, what was for all the world an actual pasture. Trees and sky, flowers and grass, and in the distance a barn with a silo leaning like the Tower of Pisa. That barn, I played there when I was a child. Involuntarily, I must have taken a step toward it, for I heard Marilla's voice.
Don't go in there.
Be quiet.
I turned around and I saw that Dr. Eddley had a gun in his hand.
Stay where you are. Enjoy yourself. Play in the barn again, Mr. Saunders.
And now I was completely engulfed in this farmland scene. It was astonishing. It was as if I were a very part of it. If I had somehow awakened here, never having seen those blank glass walls, I would have completely believed that I was standing in this open countryside.
Where'd you come from, mister?
I turned. I saw a farmer standing what seemed to be about 10 yards away.
Something I can do for you?
Well, no, I,
What you doing here?
Well, I...
Lose your way?
Well, not exactly. You see,
Well, go on.
Well, I was born here. My family used to own this place. I just thought I'd look...
Take a look around.
Yes.
What's your name?
Gordon Saunders. My father was...
Dan Saunders. I heard of him. He had the place 30 years ago.
That's right.
Want to see the house?
Well,
And come on.
He turned his back and walked away.
Bring that rake along, will you?
It was lying on the ground near my feet. I bent down. But my hand didn't close about the handle of the rake as it would have ordinarily, but rather passed right through it as if it weren't there. Nothing but sounds and images projected across the continent.
You coming?
No. I'd rather be by myself. I'll just take a little walk around, if you don't mind.
Suit yourself. We'll be up at the house if you change your mind.
Well, thank you very much. And he turned and walked further away. He went on. Then suddenly there was the sound of a key, and the door opened back into Dr. Ederly's hallway. Somehow, in an effort to save me, Marilla must have managed to get the key and the gun away from her father. Had quickly opened the door of the cubicle and thrown the gun down the length of a long hallway. As I came out, she was grappling with him to keep him from reaching it. Before I'd taken 2 steps toward them, he'd broken loose and was running for the gun. It was obvious that he'd reach it before either of us, and in a moment, we'd both be helpless. I had a revolver in my suitcase at the Lonigan place, and I knew that our only chance was for me to get it. I ran out of the house and into the woods. I got the gun and rushed back with it toward their house. I stopped just short of the clearing. I walked carefully to the edge. The white house with the yellow shutters and the 2 small brown chimneys was no more. It had vanished completely. Not a trace of it. I walked out into the clearing, bewildered, shocked, hardly able to accept the evidence of my senses.
How do you know, Mr. Saunders, that all of life is not an illusion?
I didn't even bother to turn or look about, for I knew I'd see nothing. Can you hear me, Marilla?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see you.
Are you all right?
She's perfectly all right.
The house was never really here, was it?
I'm afraid not.
Nor were you. That walk we took in the woods, Marilla?
Like your visit with the farmer.
And it was you in the red dress?
Yes. I'm sorry.
I was doing some experiments. There was a short circuit, and the image appeared in the driveway.
And when I tried to touch your hand, Marilla, in the woods?
She moved away. We were careful that you never actually touched anything connected with us. Ourselves, the rocking chair, even the doors of the house were held or left open for you.
The floor?
What you felt under your feet was the same flat rock you're standing on now. What you saw was the illusion of floorboards. No, nothing to touch. As yet.
As yet?
We have 5 senses, haven't we, Mr. Saunders? You were quite beguiled by the use of only 2. Well, I expect to have no particular difficulties with odors and tastes. But the sense of touch... You'd be interested to know that I've begun my experiments with the sense of touch, Mr. Saunders, and with very encouraging results. I'd considered conducting another experiment now, with you as the subject. With you, and with a bullet from my gun.
Oh?
But Marilla has pleaded your case. She's convinced me that you're too sensible to tell anyone about all this, that no one would believe you.
I don't imagine they would.
She's also promised never to try to get in touch with you. And, of course, I have a way of keeping an eye on you, don't I?
That house actually does exist somewhere, doesn't it?
Yes, but you won't try to find it, will you, Mr. Saunders?
And, of course, your name isn't Ederly.
I should think not. You know, I've thought of an interesting experiment we might conduct in the place of the one with the bullet. Marilla, I thought that since you've become so fond of our friend that you might want to say your last goodbye with the proper finality, that you might want to say it with a kiss.
For a moment or two, there was silence. And then I heard Marilla's voice, very close, almost in a whisper.
I've never heard your first name. Would you tell it to me now?
It's Gordon.
Goodbye, Gordon.
And then I felt Marilla's lips on mine. Gently. A tender pressure that lingered on my lips for a moment. And then was gone.
And now, Mr. Saunders, Now that I have given you your life, would you tell me in return if you felt Marilla's kiss?
Yes, I did.
Clearly, unmistakably.
It was in every sense the kiss of a lovely woman. Except...
Yes, except what?
That it was cold, Doctor. Cold as death.
Suspense. You've been listening to The Second Door, starring and written especially for Suspense by Robert Readick. Suspense is produced and directed by Bruno Zerato Jr. Music supervision by Ethel Huber. Sound patterns by Walter Otto. Heard in tonight's story were Barbara Cassar as Marilla, Paul McGrath as Dr. Ederle, and Bob Dryden as the farmer. This is Stuart Metz speaking. Listen again next week when we return with Hide and Seek, written by Bob Corcoran. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Now, from Suspense and from CBS Radio Network stations everywhere, anniversary greetings to radio station KSL, Salt Lake City, marking its 40th year of operation today. To 50,000-watt KSL, affiliated with CBS Radio since 1932. Many more years of success. This is the CBS Radio Network.
KSL, the originating station of the longtime, formerly known as the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, now the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, and they are also owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, still to this day. Radio's outstanding theater of thrill, suspense, the budgets were cut dramatically. And so Bob Readick, in addition to getting the starring role in the story and getting a paycheck for that, he got a paycheck for the script. Got to do what you got to do to stay in a business that was almost about to drop dead, if you shall. Tomorrow on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we have some fun stuff coming up because we'll have episodes of the Texaco Star Theater starring Fred Allen from 1941 with his guests Amos and Andy. And the amusing part of this is Allen went over to the Amos and Andy show. You know, Amos and Andy didn't do a lot of guest stars on the show. And Jack Benny, the focus of the show, even though he doesn't appear. Also, an episode on Wednesday of Father Knows Best, it's talking about the good old days, and Henry Morgan, and a show about school days. On Thursday, a salute to the end of World War II, with On a Note of Triumph, the delightful story from 1945. The NBC University Theater production from 1945 of The Red Badge of Courage, and the 1945 House of Mystery, Monster in the Lake. On Friday, Broadway is My Beat, starring Larry Thor from 1953. An episode of Escape from 1948, The Time Machine, an adaptation of the H.G. Wells story. Also, Orson Welles in The Lives of Harry Lime from 1952, and an episode of Sherlock Holmes starring titled The Illustrated Client, starring John Stanley and Alfred Shirley. Saturday, we'll have an episode of Dragnet from 1953, The Big Joke. Dangerous Assignment from 1950, The Tale of the Lecturing Professors. Big Town, A Confession from 1949, and in this 1954 episode of Suspense, The Last Days of John Dillinger. That's what's coming up between now and Saturday here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Anytime, visit us at classicradio.stream to support the podcast. Coming up next, The Sealed Book.
Daily, the broadcasts of Radio Free Europe and Radio Free Asia strike through the Iron Curtain, bringing the truth about the free world to the captive peoples behind it. Help send a message by giving to the 1952 Crusade for Freedom.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues with an episode of the 1945 program The Sealed Book going back 80 years and the tale of the stranger in the house.
The Sealed Book. Once again, the keeper of the book has opened the ponderous door to the secret vault, wherein is kept the great sealed book, in which is recorded all the secrets and mysteries of mankind through the ages. Here are tales of every kind, tales of murder, of madness, of dark deeds strange and terrible beyond all belief. Keeper of the book, I would know what tale we tell this time. Open the great book and let us read. Slowly, the great book opened. One by one, the keeper of the book turns the pages and stops. Ah, the strange story of a cursed and evil spirit. A spirit that threatened the peace and happiness of a young married couple. A tale called Stranger in the House. Here is the tale, Stranger in the House, as it is written on the pages of the sealed book. The tale was told by Jane Barton herself.
From the first moment I saw Wickford Manor, I was filled with a sense of uneasiness, almost fear, a fear I couldn't explain. To all outward appearances, Wickford Manor was just another old, staunchly built colonial house, the kind you see through all New England. Roger, my husband, was delighted with the house. Its beauty and remoteness won his heart from the beginning.
Say, take a look at that beautiful staircase. Look at this magnificent fireplace in the drawing room.
Yes, it is beautiful, Roger.
It's just the size house we need, with 4 rooms upstairs.
4 rooms upstairs? How do you know, Roger? The agent never mentioned how many rooms the house had.
Didn't he? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go upstairs and look. Come on, Janie.
All right, Roger.
This house would require very little in the way of repairs.
But it hasn't any electricity, Roger.
Oh, well, we could use lamps until a line could be run to the house. Look, Janie, there are 4 rooms up here.
So there are. It's as though you've been in this house before.
Yes, I have a feeling I have. Well, perhaps that's the reason I like it. But, darling, you've been ever so quiet since we entered the house. Don't you care for it?
I don't know. It seems unfriendly.
Well, if you don't like it, then we'll keep on looking until we find a house we both like.
Oh, nonsense. I've been married to you too long not to know you've got your heart set on this place. We'll never find anything nicer. Now, that room with the southern exposure will be our bedroom.
Oh, Janie, you're wonderful. And we will be happy here. I know we will.
Because I loved Roger and wanted to see him happy, I buried my fears and agreed to the purchase of the house. The first evening in our new home, as I went about the drawing room unpacking our belongings, I suddenly realized how cold and clammy the room was in spite of the roaring fire. Beyond the feeble light of the oil lamp, the room was thick with fog. Suddenly it seemed to engulf me like a shroud, and I felt the icy coldness of the grave upon me. My heart pounded in my ears. I felt faint. After what seemed like eternity, the fog rolled away. The light of the lamp became brighter. I felt unbearably alone. I rushed out of the drawing room. As I opened the door to the study, I saw Roger seated before the fireplace. He was staring unseeingly at the ashes of a fire long since gone out. Roger. Roger. Roger!
What? Oh, it's you, Jane.
Roger, is anything wrong?
Wrong?
Yes, you seem so far away, remote. It frightened me. Do you smell perfume in here?
Perfume? Why, yes. It's the perfume I gave you for your birthday, isn't it?
No. No, it isn't my perfume. It smells like narcissus.
Yes. So it does.
How strange. Roger, what were you thinking of when I came in here?
Why, I don't know. My mind was reaching out for something. Something in the past. But it was also confused. It was as if I were wandering in a fog.
Wandering in a fog?
Yes. Well, Jane, you're so pale. Aren't you feeling well?
I'm just tired. It's been rather a tiring day.
You go up to bed, Jane. I'll be along later.
All right, dear. Don't forget to turn out the lamp when you come up.
I won't.
I left the study and Roger. After tossing in my bed for hours, I fell into a fitful sleep. And I suddenly awakened to hear the clock in the hall striking the hour. It was 5 o'clock, and Roger's bed was empty. Quickly slipping on my robe, I left my room and started down the stairs. As I reached the foot of the stairs, I stopped. But to my astonishment, I heard Roger's voice in the study. I slowly approached until I was at the door.
Who are you? This mist. If I could only make you out clearer. So difficult. The mist obscures your face. Who are you? Why don't you say something?
Roger! Roger! Unlock the door! It's Jane!
What's wrong? The mist, it's coming between us. I can hardly see you. Oh, don't go. Come back, please. Please come back.
Darling! Darling, please unlock this door. Please! Roger!
And now back to the story as it is written in the sealed book. It was 5 o'clock in the morning when Jane suddenly woke and found Roger locked in his study. He was apparently talking to someone, although there could be no one there. Hysterically, Jane pounded on the study door.
Darling, unlock the door, please. Roger! Oh, Roger.
What is it, Jane?
I was so frightened. Who are you talking to?
Talking to? I don't know. I must have been dreaming.
Oh, yes. Yes, you must have been. There isn't anyone in here. Roger, the scent of narcissus. So strong in here.
Yes.
Much stronger than it was at midnight. Roger, what were you dreaming about?
It was night. All around me was a mist. There was a woman.
A woman?
Yes. I could barely make out her face in the swirling mists. But it was a beautiful face. The most beautiful face I've ever seen.
Did you feel you'd seen her before?
Yes. I couldn't remember where.
Oh, what do you make of it, Roger?
Make of it? Oh, it was just a dream, I suppose. What else could it have been?
Roger said it was a dream. But in his heart, I knew he believed it was more than a dream. During the days that followed, he'd pace incessantly in the study, paying no attention to me, living only for the coming of twilight. And when night did fall, he'd lock himself in the study, forbidding me to disturb him. Hours would pass, and then suddenly I'd hear him talking to her, begging her to come closer, pleading with her to speak to him. At last one night I couldn't stand it any longer. When he began talking to her, I knocked on the door of the study until he opened it.
What do you want? I thought I told you I wasn't to be disturbed.
I must talk
you
to you.
You fool! She was about to speak to me for the first time. And you knocked on the door and caused her to vanish.
Oh, Roger, you're not in love with her. You couldn't be.
But I am. There's never a moment I don't think of her. Wish that I might see her.
Oh, what you're saying is madness. You can't be in love with her. She's from another world, a phantom, an evil ghost.
No, she isn't evil. She's beautiful. So beautiful I'd give my life for her.
Roger, listen to me. You must come away from this house and from her. She's cast a spell over you, and it can only lead to disaster. Roger, we must leave this house at once.
No, never.
I insist.
Get out, you hear? And don't come back. I'll never leave her, never.
Dr. Smith, in view of what I've told you, do you think you can help me?
Now, you say, Mrs. Barton, that when you drove out to Wickford Manor for the first time, your husband seemed to recognize the house?
Certain things about it, yes.
There's a history to Wickford Manor, though few people are familiar with it.
A history to Wickford Manor?
Yes. The house was built in 1811 by Martin Wickford for his bride, Harriet. A year later, Harriet's sister Isabel came to live with the Wickfords. She was a remarkably beautiful woman, so beautiful that Martin Wickford fell in love with her, and she with him.
Then what happened?
Well, one day, while Martin was hunting in the mountains, he was killed in a fall. When his companions brought his body back to Wickford Manor, they found Harriet, his wife, dead. She'd been poisoned.
Poisoned?
Yes. At the sight of Martin's body, Isabel went to pieces and confessed that she had poisoned her sister. Before she could be arrested, she committed suicide in the study.
In the study?
Yes. In the years that followed the tragedy, Wickford Manor had a succession of tenants, all of whom left after a brief residence.
You mean they saw her, too?
Well, the tenants made no claim of seeing anyone, but their fear of an unknown element in the house led them to leave.
If the other tenants never saw her, why should Roger see her?
Mrs. Barton, you said that your husband seemed to know many things beforehand about the house.
Yes, I recall joking with him about it. I said it was as though he'd been there before.
Perhaps he had, long ago, as another person.
As another person?
Yes.
You mean Roger had once known Wickford Manor in some previous life?
How else do you account for his remembrance of things that he'd never seen in this life?
Oh, you're trying to tell me something, Doctor. What is it?
Perhaps your husband and the spirit of the woman Isabel are able to bridge the gap of time and space, because they had once known each other in another life.
Doctor, you don't believe that Roger was Martin Wickford?
I don't know. What is happening at Wickford Manor is beyond the knowledge of the living. But this I do know. We must return to the manor at once, for the spirit that's abroad in the house is one to be feared more than death itself.
Please come closer so I can see you better. Oh, you're beautiful. Beautiful. Won't you tell me who you are? We have met before, haven't we?
Yes. We've met before.
What? You spoke.
I've waited so long for you, Martin.
Why do you call me Martin? My name's Roger.
It was Martin. Then.
Then? What do you mean?
Look at me, Martin. Look into my eyes. Don't you remember me?
Yes, but where?
Think, Martin. Think. Time is the barrier between us, but we shall surmount it. Think back into the dim past when you lived in this house and we loved each other.
Isabel. Isabel!
Yes, Martin. Isabel. Do you remember now?
Yes, Isabel, yes. I remember everything up to the day I went hunting in the mountains and fell. What happened to me, Isabel? What happened to us? To our love?
Don't think of that accursed day, darling, but think of the future. Our happiness together.
Oh, yes, Isabel. Our happiness together.
Roger! Roger, please open this door. Roger!
Martin, she's come back.
Yes. Darling, don't go. Don't leave me.
I must, Martin. I must. We could be so happy together.
Come back. Please come back.
Roger, please unlock this door, please.
What do you want? What did you come for?
Roger, this is Dr. Smith. Doctor, this is my husband.
What the devil did you bring him here for?
Roger, please. I thought perhaps he could help us.
Help us? I don't need anybody's help.
I must warn you, Mr. Barton. The spirit of the woman you see in the study is an evil one that will lead you to disaster.
I don't need help from you or anybody else. I'll get out of this house. Get out, both of you.
Doctor, we must do something. We must.
We shall, but not tonight. I must have time to think about it. You'd better return to the village with me.
No, I don't want to leave him in the house alone. Something might happen to him.
Very well, then. I'll return late tomorrow afternoon, and when I do, we shall take action.
Isabel. Isabel, where are you? I'm alone now, darling. Please come back.
I'm here, Martin. I'm here.
Oh, yes, I see you now. Promise you'll never leave me again, Isabel.
I don't want to leave you, darling. But that woman is trying to come between us.
Jane?
Yes. She hates me, Martin. She will come between us if you don't get rid of her.
I tried to make her leave, but she wouldn't go.
Then that leaves only one thing to do.
One thing to do?
Yes. Come. We must hurry. It's almost dawn, and I'll have to leave you soon. Look at her, lying there asleep, so defenseless. Yes. Go ahead. Put your hands around her throat and squeeze.
Oh.
Hurry, Martin, before she awakens.
Who's there?
Answer her.
It's Roger.
Oh, for a moment I was so frightened. What time is it?
It's just dawn.
Hurry, Martin, I must leave.
Yes.
Roger. Roger, why are you looking at me like that? Oh, no, Roger.
Tighter, Martin. Tighter until she stops struggling and is still forever.
Isabel, don't leave me. Isabel, where are you? Isabel, please don't leave me, Isabel.
Roger, she made you do it, didn't she? Oh, Roger, Roger.
「
And now to continue the story as it is written in the sealed book. As Jane finished describing to the doctor how Roger, urged on by the sinister spirit he called Isabel, had nearly strangled her, the doctor spoke.
And then, Mrs. Barton, you say your husband stopped choking you and ran out of your room and down to the study?
Yes, Dr. Smith.
Oh, I should have known better than to let you remain in this house last night. Don't you see? This Isabel knows that if he murders you, he will then join her cursed spirit forever in this house.
Oh, look. Look, it's growing dark out. Soon she'll appear to bewitch him again. Doctor, we must do something.
Very well. This woman, Isabel, has been denied the peace of the grave because her sister's blood is on her hands. She belongs neither to the living or the dead, only to this house. If we could get your husband to leave, perhaps it would break the spell she's cast over him.
Yes, but he absolutely refuses to leave.
Then we must force him to. I could very quickly give him a hypodermic and render him unconscious.
Yes. Then we could carry him away.
And to make sure he never returns to this house, we must burn it to the ground before we leave.
Yes, we will burn it. And the evil that's in it.
Then if you'll lead me to the study.
All right, Doctor. Have you the hypodermic ready?
Yes. Now, when your husband opens the door, just gain his attention for a moment. Long enough for me to give him the injection.
Yes, very well. Roger. Roger, open the door. I want to talk to you.
What do you want? Why has he come back to this house?
He's come to take me away, Roger.
To take you away? Good. I'm glad to see you. What have you stuck me with? What's that in your hand?
Just a hypodermic, Mr. Barton.
A hypodermic? What are you up to? You're trying to take me away from this house. From her. Well, I won't go. I won't go. Do you hear?
Oh, Doctor, quick, he's falling.
I've got him, Mrs. Barton. Now I suggest you take that lamp and smash it on the floor.
Yes. Let's burn the place down to the ground.
Yeah, that's it. Now you'd better help me carry your husband out of the house. In a little while, this house will be a raging inferno. He's regaining consciousness, Mrs. Barton.
Will he remember what's happened?
I don't know.
How are you, darling?
Oh, hello, Janie. Oh, but I had a terrible dream. I'm so confused.
You've been very ill, but now you're going to be all right.
Of course.
Oh. Where am I?
You're in my home, Mr. Barton.
Yes, darling. Our house burned down last night.
Burned down? Oh, that's too bad. Well, we only had one night in our new home.
One night? Oh, yes, of course, Roger.
Well, Mrs. Barton, in spite of the loss of your home, I think you were very fortunate. For there are things far worse than fire.
Yes, Doctor. And I can never thank you enough for breaking the bridge between the past and the present.
What are you two talking about?
Oh, nothing, darling. Nothing at all. Roger, you've been humming that all day.
Well, I like it.
But you can't carry a tune.
Oh, nonsense. I've carried this tune for 300 miles, and I'll carry it the rest of the way to California.
Oh, what a trip this is going to be. Roger.
What?
Do you smell something?
Yes. Good night air.
No, I don't mean that.
Well, what's wrong with you, Janie?
Don't you smell it?
What? You mean that perfume?
Yes.
Seems familiar. What is it?
Narcissus.
Narcissus?
Yes. Oh, Roger, we haven't escaped from her. She's here in this car.
Bart, it's Isabel. Think, darling. Think.
Roger. You look as though you're listening to her.
You do remember everything now. Don't you, Martin?
Yes.
Darling, we must get rid of her. She's trying to come between us.
Yes.
Oh, Roger, you mustn't listen to her.
Once she's gone, we'll be together forever, darling.
Yes. Forever.
Roger. Roger, why have you stopped the car? No. No, don't look at me like that. Roger, no. Stay away from me. You
A few hours after Jane was found strangled in the abandoned car, state police arrested Roger Barton and charged him with murder. Strangely enough, as Roger was being hanged for his crime, witnesses at the execution noticed a strange scent of perfume about the gallows. Some people said afterwards that it was Narcissus, and they remarked on the expression of joy on Roger's face as he died. And now, keeper of the book, before you close the great volume, show us the tale we tell next time. This one. Ah, yes, a weird and incredible tale of a wife who was being blackmailed because of her past. But because she did not know the identity of her blackmailer, she suffered 1,000 times over. The tale is called Out of the Past. Be sure to be with us again next time when the sound of the great gong heralds another strange and exciting tale from The Sealed Book. The Sealed Book, written by Bob Arthur and David Cogan, is produced and directed by Jock McGregor.
The more or less masters of mystery, Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan. The Sealed Book, 80 years ago, May 6th, 1945, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit our webpage to support the program, classicradio.stream. Coming up next, Dimension X and Knock.
Driving tonight? Then remember this. Most highway deaths are caused by two temptations, to cut out of line and to go too fast. Crossing the center line of the road is more dangerous than you realize. Statistics prove it. Excessive speed is just as dangerous as officials say. You can predict your own impulses, but you can never predict the other drivers when driving tonight. Drive cautiously, please.
We continue now with one of the best science fiction shows there were. Of course, there were not a lot of them. Between Dimension X and X-1, those are the big ones from NBC. There were some other shows that were wonderful, but Dimension X was one of the ones that lasted the second longest, because I think you find that X-1 lasted a little longer. In fact, they tried to do a comeback episode in, I believe, 1973 with the Iron Chancellor. But this episode is from 75 years ago, May 6, 1950. The last man on Earth sat in a room. There was a knock on the door. This is entitled Knock.
Adventures in time and space.
told in future tense.
Dimension
Can you predict the future? Can you tell what will happen in 100 years? Or in 10? Or in the next minute? Can you look beyond the known dimensions of time and space into the unknown, Dimension X? Tonight we have a strange story to tell. A sweet, blood-curdling little story that is really only 2 sentences long. The last man on Earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock on the door. Think it over. Suppose you were the last man alive on Earth, in the universe for that matter. The last man sitting alone in a room, and suddenly there was a knock on the door. What knocked on the door? You wonder, don't you? Your mind, faced with the unknown, supplies something vaguely horrible. But it isn't horrible, really. You'll see. The last man on Earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock on the door.
What? Oh, what's that?
Good morning, man.
What? Who are you?
You have regained consciousness.
Well, who are you?
I am Azan.
Maybe if I close my eyes, it'll go away.
I will not go away, man.
No, I guess I am awake. Who? What are you?
I am Azan.
Well, what's that?
Azan is intelligent life.
What happened? Where are you from?
From Planet 7 in the 3rd galaxy in the 4th quadrant.
Where?
It is not necessary to repeat information which is correct in the original statement.
Planet 7? You mean I'm not on Earth?
You are still on your planet.
Well, then what are you doing here?
The Zans have annexed your world.
You mean you've conquered Earth?
Yes, that is correct. We will now prepare your planet for habitation by the Zan.
Well, how about the people?
There is no longer any use for large numbers of lower life forms. Therefore, we have dispensed with them.
Dispensed with? You mean you've... When did all this happen?
2 days ago. You have been unconscious until now.
You really mean I'm the last man on Earth?
That is correct. Identify yourself now.
What?
Kindly provide data as to your position in the elementary social order of your planet.
Well, I'm Walter Phelan, Associate Professor of Anthropology at Nathan University. How is it you speak English?
We have deciphered your written and recorded records. It is not difficult to reconstruct your language, very type of auditory communication.
Oh.
Is there anything you want to complete your natural habitat?
You mean I'm a prisoner?
That is correct. What will you want further in your room?
Well, do I have to stay here?
Yes.
The rest of my life?
Forever.
Well, then you better bring in my books. I gotta call you something. Do you mind if I call you, George?
It is immaterial.
All right, then, George. You know, I can't really believe this.
That is a characteristic of low-life form.
I'm trying to take this in without going off balance completely.
I will be back, Associate Professor of Anthropology.
It's all right, George. Just call me Walter.
Very well, Walter. I will be back with your books.
All right, George. I'll be seeing you around.
You will not be around, Walter. You will be here.
Yes, the last man on Earth sat alone in a room. A rather peculiar room. He just noticed how peculiar it was, and he'd been studying out the reason for its peculiarity. His conclusion didn't horrify him, but it annoyed him. There was a knock on the door.
Come in. Oh, hello, George.
Hello, Walter.
Well, what can I do for you?
Point 1, you will please henceforth sit with your chair pointed the other way.
I thought so. That plain wall is different from the other sides, isn't it?
That is correct. It is transparent.
That's what I thought. I'm in a zoo. Right?
That is correct.
I knew it. And if I persist in sitting with my back to it, what then? You'll kill me, I ask, hopefully?
No, we will not kill you.
That's too bad. George, I'll face the bars and perform for the people. I mean for the Zons. How many other animals do you have here in the zoo, George?
216, a male and female each of 108 kinds.
Male and female of all the animals?
There is a female of your species among the collection.
Anyone I know? Never mind, it doesn't matter anyway. Well, George, you started out with point 1. I suppose there's a point 2 kicking around somewhere. What is it?
Something we do not understand. 2 of the other animals sleep and do not wake. They are cold. What is wrong with them, Walter?
Well, they must be dead.
Dead? That means stopped. But nothing stopped them. Each was alone.
Sure, they just died.
But I have told you they were alone. Nothing stopped them.
George, do you mean to tell me that you don't know what natural death is?
Death is when a being is killed, stopped from living.
Maybe these animals just died of old age.
Old age? I do not understand.
George, how old are you?
Your planet went around the sun about 7,000 times since I was born.
What? 7,000 years?
Yes, I'm still young.
Now, look, George, you've got something to learn about this planet you've hijacked. Here on Earth, we've got somebody that's a stranger where you come from. Down here, our people and animals live until the Grim Reaper stops them.
This, Grim Reaper stopped the 2 animals?
That's right.
He will stop more?
Oh, he gets us all, George.
This is a new factor we have not considered.
But you can consider it. Because when the Grim Reaper gets through, there won't be very much left of your zoo.
You mean he will stop more animals soon?
Well, with your lifespan, it won't seem like a minute and we'll all be gone. Now, it looks like you made a mistake, George. I don't think there's very much you can do about it.
That is not correct. The Zon is a logical being. We will take action.
Where are you taking me, George?
We will be there shortly.
You mean, it's moving day?
That is correct. We are here now. You will live here now, Walter. It is a larger room.
Well, be it ever so humble.
Go inside.
Be careful with those books, George. Don't lose... Excuse me.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Well, I guess George didn't explain. George tries to be polite, but he hasn't quite caught on yet. I'm Walter Phelan.
My name is Grace Evans, Mr. Phelan. What is all this about? Why did they bring me here?
I think I know why.
Why?
You see, I've been talking to George.
George?
Well, that's what I call them, all of them. There's no way to tell them apart anyway. There aren't many of them here, yet. They come from outside the solar system, sort of an advanced scouting party.
Yes, I saw their spaceship. It's as big as a mountain.
They're moving in on us. They cleaned off the Earth with some kind of vibration that destroys all sorts of animal life. They killed everybody.
Oh, no. I was afraid.
Well, the cheerful note is that you and I and 200-odd other animals were picked up beforehand as specimens for the zoo. You know that this is a zoo, don't you?
Yes. I suspected it. But I don't remember anything about being captured. I just woke up here.
Well, they solved a lot of problems for us. Housing shortages, wars. I don't suppose the human race, you and I, that is, have to worry about anything now.
It's awful.
Only they made one mistake. They overestimated us.
I don't understand.
They thought we were immortal.
That we were what?
Immortal, like they are. Oh, they can be killed. The Zons don't know what natural death is. They didn't know anyway until they lost 2 of us yesterday.
You mean there are more than 2 of us?
No more of our species. These were merely brother animals. A rabbit and a canary. And by the Zons' way of figuring time, the rest of us are only good for a few minutes apiece anyway. That's a joke on them. They figured they had permanent specimens here in their zoo.
But didn't they know that we'd all die eventually?
No, I don't think so. See, George told me he was 7,000 years old and he's supposed to be young. When they learned how quickly we die, Well, they were probably shocked to the core. If they have cause.
How can you talk that way about it?
Academic detachment. I learned it at faculty teas. At any rate, they've decided to reorganize their zoo 2 by 2.
Oh.
Sure, they figure we'll last longer collectively, if not individually.
But if they think... That is, if you think for 1 minute...
No, don't worry. I don't.
But are they going to keep us locked up together in this one little room?
I'm afraid so.
It's horrible.
I agree with you perfectly, my dear. But all personal considerations aside, the least favor we can do the human race is to let it end with us. I don't see much point in continuing it just for an exhibition in a zoo.
How can you just sit here and lecture?
Have it.
But we've got to do something.
Why?
I don't know. It just seems we owe it to the human race to do something.
You got a suggestion?
There must be some way. They can be killed, you said.
I think that anything that would kill one of us would kill one of them. You see, I figured it out, I think. George cut his... Well, I suppose you'd call it his hand when he brought in my books. It started to bleed, red blood, but I could see the cut closing just as he stood there. And by the time he left, it was healed.
I don't understand.
Don't you see, whatever factor there is in man that makes him grow old is missing in the Zan. They just go on and on and on until they're stopped.
Yeah. But suppose we killed one. There must be some way.
Well, but what would be the use? They wouldn't even punish us. They'd just give us our food through a trap door and put a sign out saying, "Beware of the man, dangerous."
I don't think they'd have to bother in your case. I don't see anything funny.
I'm sorry. Just reminds me of Martha.
Martha?
My wife. She died 2 years ago.
I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Oh, that'll be George with my books. Come in. Hello, George.
Hello, Walter. Point 1, I have brought your books.
Point 1, Well, what else is on your mind?
Point 2, another creature sleeps and will not wake. A small feathered one called a duck.
It happens, George. I warned you. Old man Death, the Grim Reaper. I told you all about him.
Walter, the Council of Zan has met. It has been decided logically that the only intelligent life to escape the vibration is you. Therefore, the logical conclusion is you are stopping these animals by some means unknown to us.
George, you're off your trolley.
You will tell me now how this is done.
You boys afraid you're going to lose the whole zoo?
It is necessary to save the remaining specimens as long as possible. If we do not get information, we may be forced to dispense with your species entirely.
Now, wait a minute.
This means you, Walter, and the female.
Now, wait a minute, George. Don't go off half-cocked. Let me take a look at these animals that won't wake up.
I will take you there now. Go first, Walter.
After you, my dear George.
This is the weasel.
You should have got him in the winter, George. The fur's worth more then. Then it's an ermine.
This is the reptile cage. Here are the ducks. This is the male. The female has been stopped.
Lucky girl. What's the matter, fella? You lonely down there?
Walter, you will tell me how you stopped the female duck.
You got me, George. I didn't do it. Maybe she died of the Dutch elm blight.
Walter, you are not being logical. We have concluded you are stopping these animals. Tell us how it is done.
I told you, George, I haven't the foggiest notion.
Very well. We will have to take further action.
Well, what are you going to do, George?
We have methods of action you will know soon. We will go back now to your room.
What happened, Mr. Phelan?
You can call me Walter. After all, George does, and we have more in common.
Oh, please, what happened?
Just a duck, a dead duck. George thinks I killed her by remote control. He thinks I'm holding out on him.
Good.
What?
Well, at least we can get back at them. At least we can do something to them.
Well, why? After all, George isn't a bad fellow, if you like an ant mentality.
How can you say that? They've wiped out the whole human race. They've murdered everybody.
I suppose they have, but we can't change that now, so why think about it?
Well, we can't just sit here and do nothing.
I fail to see how we can do anything else.
Oh, of all the men in the world they had to pick, Don't you want to fight back? Don't you want to keep on fighting until the end?
It hadn't occurred to me.
But we've got to, Walter.
Why?
Well, I can't really explain, but... Walter, if there was any good in man at all, it was that he kept on, struggling against nature and in the end even against himself. But at least he kept on fighting for what he thought was right, and we're all that's left. Walter, we just can't end it by giving up. We've got to keep on fighting.
You know, you do remind me of Martha.
Oh, look, there isn't much left for us, but we could beat them in this one small thing. We can pretend that there's a secret about death, and we could refuse to tell them anything.
But there isn't anything to tell.
Well, they don't know that. Promise me you won't give in.
I suppose the worst they can do is to kill us.
Oh, Walter.
All right, Miss Evans. Hello, George.
Hello, Walter. Now, you will tell us how these animals are stopped?
George, this may come as a great shock to you, but I've decided not to tell you.
Why?
Oh, call it a romantic attachment to lost causes. My grandfather was a Confederate officer.
Walter, you are not being logical, but that is expected in lower life forms. You will come with me now, Walter.
Where are you taking him?
To the second level. Come now, Walter.
You won't tell them.
I can't guarantee anything, but as of now, I don't intend to.
We've got to fight. Remember that, Walter. We've got to go out fighting.
I think you're right.
Come now, Walter.
Goodbye.
It's been a pleasure, Miss Evans.
I am waiting. Come now, Walter.
After you, my dear George.
You will tell us now, Walter? That was the first level of vibration. There are many more. However, we have calculated that none of them exceed your threshold of unconsciousness.
Oh, very clever, George.
Of course. You will tell us now, how do you stop these animals? You will tell us now?
As of now, no. However, I'm not very brave, if that encourages you, George.
You are not being logical, Walter.
You're telling me.
We will now use vibration level 2. You will tell us now?
You know, George, I can't figure it out myself, but I'm stubborn. Maybe it has something to do about the dignity of man, the civilization such as it was that you wiped out.
I do not understand.
I didn't think you would. So go ahead. Vibrate.
Vibration level 2. It will be very painful, Walter. Walter? Walter? You are still conscious.
Let me alone, George.
You will tell us now. You will tell us how you stop the animals.
Let me alone.
We have had vibration levels 1 through 10. There are still 15 more before your threshold of unconsciousness.
No, let me alone.
Walter, listen to me. Another creature sleeps and will not wake. We must know now.
That's tough. You better start vibrating again, George.
No.
What?
It would not be logical. We have calculated that no further level of vibration will overcome your irrational psychological block. We conclude you will not tell.
You mean you're going to let me go?
That is correct.
That's real nice of you, George. I appreciate it.
We have calculated that the resistance of the female of your species will be lower. We will now place her under the vibrations.
Oh, no, George, you can't do that.
Why not, Walter? It is the logical plan.
No, she couldn't take it.
Yes, that is what we expect. Therefore, we will go and bring the woman here.
No, now listen to me, George. There is no secret. Do you understand that? There's no secret. Those animals died from natural causes. And I'm telling you the truth.
That is not a logical answer. We will get the woman.
Well, I've told you the truth. Can't you understand?
We must know now. The female animal caged next to the duck has been stopped. We must preserve the survivor.
The animal next to the duck?
We will bring the woman here. She will tell us after the vibration.
No, listen, George. George, do you want the truth? You want to know how to save the mates of the animals that have been stopped?
You will tell us now?
Yes, I'll tell you. Take me to that stopped animal, and I'll tell you how to save its mate.
Very well, Walter. You are being logical now. We will go.
Just let me catch my breath a minute.
What happened?
Well, after a while, I told them what they wanted to know.
You didn't.
Sure, as George pointed out, it seemed to be the logical thing at the time.
You gave up?
I suppose you can call it that. Look, I'm very bad. Something might turn up, Martha.
But they've beaten us completely then. There isn't anything we can do. Of the human race. And we give up. We don't even die fighting. You call me?
Oh, I must have said Martha. I'm sorry.
The Council of the Zan has met.
Something wrong? She was my wife. She died 2 years ago. What were you saying?
Nothing. Nothing. It doesn't matter. It's too late. Too late. For the whole...
What now, George?
Zan has been stopped.
What?
Zan is dead?
That is correct.
You didn't believe me, George. But you can die. You can really die. You'll have to get used to that if you're going to stay here.
The Council has decided. A, you have in some way stopped this Zan. B, you and the woman must be eliminated.
You got it wrong, George. I didn't stop that Zan. It's just death. It gets all of us here.
You will be eliminated now.
But, George, it won't do any good to kill us. It won't save you. Everything that lives on Earth must die.
That is not logical.
But it's true.
The Council has decided. This time, you will have the full vibration.
This time? Walter, what did they do to you?
They have a rather effective third degree.
They tortured you, Walter?
Yes.
And Walter, it was all my fault.
I wouldn't even have tried without you. I suppose we have a last chance now to end with some dignity.
I think you're a very brave man.
Well, there isn't much else to do. Do we go now, George?
Now, Walter.
Wait, what's that?
I have been told another Zan has died.
Now will you believe me?
The Council of the Zan meets now.
2 gone already, and you were with me, George. You know I didn't kill this one.
What stopped him then?
I told you it's old man death. You came to the wrong planet, George. Your immortality doesn't go down here. He can stop you, but you can't stop him. And you'll all die if you stick around. And now what?
The Council has decided this is a place of death. We will leave your planet.
Leave? You mean you're giving up?
It is not safe for the Zan.
Walter, they're leaving. They're really going.
Go on then, George, and don't hurry back.
It would not be logical to do so. We are leaving the Earth now. Goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye, George. Well, they're all aboard now.
Oh, it's so wonderful to feel the wind and the sun again.
Close the hatches.
Walter, is it safe for us to be out here?
Sure, they're not interested in us any longer. They only want to get away. And I want to see this Grace, the Zan leaving Earth forever. Now they're blasting off.
There they go.
Yes, it's over now. Well, I suppose we might as well go back in.
I still don't understand, Walter. What made them go?
Oh, I just told them the facts of life.
Of death, you mean?
No, of life. After all, I thought George was old enough to know at 7,000 years he was getting to be a pretty big boy.
I wish you'd stop joking and tell me what happened.
Look out for the steps. Well, do you remember when the first animals died?
Yes, the rabbit and the canary.
And their mates just started to pine and waste away?
Yes.
Well, that worried the Zan. They wanted to keep the last specimens alive if they could. So finally I broke down and told them about affection.
Affection?
Mm-hmm. And then I introduced Donald.
Donald? Who's that?
Here we are.
Oh.
Come here. Grace, I want you to meet Donald.
Oh, Walter, please. What does affection have to do with it?
Well, that's what the Zan wanted to know. I told him it was love that made the world go round, that having lost his mate, Donald would die immediately unless he had affection and constant petting.
Petting?
Mm-hmm. I even showed him how. Come here, fella. Come here. Yes, I held Donald in my arms and petted him a while, and then I let the Zon take over with the animal in the next cage.
What animal?
Take a look. Hey, watch out. Don't go
Walter.
too close.
It's a rattlesnake.
Yes, it's a rattlesnake. The Zon's metabolism made it impossible for them to die of old age, but I had a hunch they could be poisoned.
Then it was the snake that killed the two Zon.
They never even knew what bit them.
Then you outwitted them, Walter.
I suppose.
And I thought you'd just given up. Oh, Walter, I'm so proud of you.
You don't have to be. I had given up. I probably wouldn't have fought at all if you hadn't pushed me.
Well,
we've got a world to plan, a whole new world, Grace.
I know.
We'll have to decide which animals to let out of the zoo and which ones would be safer to keep in. But first, there's a much bigger problem.
What's that?
The human race.
Oh.
Yeah, we got to make a decision about that. It's a pretty important one.
Yes. But...
It hasn't been a bad race. Of course, it may go backward for a while until it gets its breath, but... Well, we can save the books and all the most important things and get it started ahead once more.
Please, Walter.
It's the Garden of Eden.
Don't be
all over again.
Don't be ridiculous, Walter.
Funny. You even blush like Martha. Only you're stronger than she was. And prettier, too.
I wish you'd forget about Martha.
I think I will, my dear, if you'll only give me a little time.
Now, Walter Phelan, you listen to me. If you think for 1 minute that we...
I thought it would never happen to me again. But it is love that makes the world go round. And so, Grace, if you could only...
I wouldn't marry you if you were the last man on earth.
But that's exactly what I am.
I don't care. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm going out.
Well, all right, my dear, but think it over and please come back.
You see, I told you. It wasn't really so horrible, our story. Remember how it goes. The last man on earth sat alone in a room. And then there was a knock on the door.
Come in. Oh, come in. Come in. My dear.
You see, it wasn't horrible at all.
You have just heard the Frederick Brown story entitled Knock, an adventure in time, space, and the unknown world of the future, the world of Dimension X.
Now, about next week. Next week, we tell the story of a robot. But a robot that was almost human.
Tonight's adventure in Dimension X was adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Arnold Moss was heard as Walter Phelan, Louis Van Ruten as the Zon, and Joan Alexander as Grace Evans. Your narrator was Norman Rose. Music by Albert Berman, engineer Bill Chambers. Dimension X is produced by Van Woodward and directed by Edward King. Tomorrow, hear Sam Spade. Now it's Truth or Consequences on NBC.
75 years ago, May 6, 1950, X-1 on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Coming up next, Peg Lynch and Alan Munson at Everyday Tale of the Couple Next Door.
Instead of going down, the annual rate of polio cases in this country is going up. Instead of growing panicky with fear in the face of such an unwelcome fact,
There is a way in which we all can join the Army which is fighting to check this trend and ultimately defeat infantile paralysis. We can contribute to the March of Dimes. Give today so that the 1952 March of Dimes will be the biggest ever and a really potent fighting force against polio.
We'll close out this Tuesday edition of the Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox podcast with an episode of The Couple Next Door. Sort of the continuation of The Private Lives of Ethel and Albert, but redone for CBS so they could use it as part of their 15-minute show's daily strip. In the later afternoon, they had a lot of other shows. They had Bob and Ray, they had Bob Hope, they had this show, A Couple Next Door. And this episode from 65 years ago today, May 6, 1960, and who's responsible for the crash?
CBS Radio brings you The Couple Next Door, written by Peg Lynch and starring Peg Lynch and Alan Bunce.
Dear, what was that?
What? What was what?
Didn't you hear that car? Horn blowing and a screeching of brakes, then it sounds sort of like a crash. I was saying goodnight to Betsy upstairs. She heard it, too.
No, I didn't hear anything. I had the TV on. I think there was something on that, probably, what you heard.
Yes, maybe so,
Yeah.
maybe so. Did you turn it off?
The TV, yeah, before I got hypnotized into staying up to the late show. I am determined to get to bed early tonight.
I know, me too. Of course, this is probably the night there's something just wonderful on. Every time we don't watch it, it turns out we've missed the show of the year.
I know, never fails. Well, I think I'll finish the paper and go on up.
House seems so quiet, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Seems good, too. Don't tempt your luck.
Yeah.
We've had enough excitement around here lately, chasing that
so-
darn canary all over the house.
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't tell you. Myra picked him up today. She got back. I didn't tell her he'd been out of his cage. I thought that what she didn't know wouldn't hurt her, you know.
Yeah.
And the canary seemed all right, so I... now, who's that?
Who's
Sit
that?
still. I'm up. Maybe Ann Lundell anyway. She said she might drop by with some committee reports.
You people own a brown and white dog that looks something like a Springer Spaniel?
Why, yes, Brownie.
Well, he was lying out there in the middle of the road. I came along...
Is he dead?
No, he's not dead. I swerved to avoid him and crashed into the mailbox.
Oh, thank heavens. Oh, well, that's all right. Never mind the mailbox.
It's all right. I'll be darned if it's all right. I've smashed the headlight to my car, bashed in my front fender, which may be all right with you. But I'll be darned if it's all right with me, lady.
What is it? What's the matter?
You better come in, sir, and talk to my husband.
Do you know what a Buttram bonus is? Well, it's a feature of CBS Radio's Just Entertainment show every week. Through it, America's most forward-looking backward boy, Pat Buttram, reveals gems of philosophy to laugh by, if not to live by. Pat held forth during a recent Buttram bonus on keeping the mind out of mischief. Pat has observed from his off-ivory-hued philosophical tower that even when people keep out of mischief, their minds seldom do. Worry, according to Pat, is a chief item of mental mischief. Pat recommends that wives stay away from their husbands' offices. That way, if he's got a pretty secretary, they won't worry about her. He also suggests that mothers never read their sons' report cards. If the marks are bad, they'll only worry about the boy turning out to be as dumb as his father. Now, we could go on quoting Buttramisms by the hour, but why not get them right from the horses, from Pat himself? Monday through Friday on Just Entertainment, CBS Radio offers the Buttram bonus and Buttram's whole pleasure-bent bunch. Listen in often for Just Entertainment.
Just a minute, Mr. Wilcox, did you say?
Wilcox, that's right. Leonard J. Wilcox. I'm with Blaney's department store.
Blaney's? Well, we should tell him about all the trouble we had with those Christmas hams.
Never mind the ham.
I'm in furniture, antique reproductions manager.
Well, I hope you run it better than they do the ham department, or food, whatever they call it. We ordered a ham sent to some friends.
Look, never mind the hams.
Well, I said it,
sweetheart,
I'm sorry, I just get upset all over again every time I think of them.
Here, now, Mr. Wilcox, you sure it was our dog that was lying in the middle of the road?
Well, he jumped up and ran down your driveway, and, well, there he is, sitting out there now. Now, isn't that your dog?
Yes, that's our dog.
As I said, I saw him just in time. I honked the horn, but he didn't move, so I slammed on the brakes and had to swerve to avoid him and crashed into the mailbox, knocking that over, and, well, you should see my car.
Yeah, well, I am very sorry.
Sorry? I've smashed one headlight and bashed in my front fender, and since it was your dog, you are responsible for the damages to my car.
Oh, no, just a minute. I mean, getting a fender fixed these days sometimes means replacing one whole side of the car. I mean, that could run into several $100s.
That's right, and I don't intend to be stuck for it. Well, it was your dog that caused the accident, therefore, you are responsible.
Yeah, all right. Now, Mr. Wilcox, I am very grateful that Brownie wasn't killed. I mean, let's have that understood. But on the other hand, if this is going to be a matter of several $100s...
I could have been killed.
Not if you were going 25 miles an hour, Mr. Wilcox, which is the speed limit out here on the main road. And from the screeching of brakes, which I heard, I know that now that's what I heard, dear.
Yeah, that's right. My wife heard it.
Yes, I heard it.
I thought it was something on the television.
I told you, remember?
Yes.
From the screeching of brakes, you were going a lot faster than 25, Mr. Wilcox. More likely 40. The way most people tear past, regardless...
I was not...
Regardless of all the signs out there which say, watch out for children.
Yes, The children along here are not, I trust, out playing at 8:30 at night.
The speed limit is 25 miles per hour, Mr. Wilcox, even at night.
Well, that's what I was doing. All right.
Now, let's not all get excited. I mean...
Well, he wants us to pay for his car. What about our mailbox, which he knocked down and smashed? Now, isn't he responsible for that?
I smashed down the mailbox avoiding your dog.
All right. Now, if I mean, there's nothing to be gained by all this. I'll call a lawyer friend of mine. I'll call Jack Lundell,
Yes,
and I'll see.
I suggest a better idea would be to call your insurance man and make a report.
Well, if you don't mind, Mr. Wilcox, I would like to call and find out who is legally responsible if a man smashes into a mailbox post because of another man's dog.
A man is responsible for what his dog does.
Brownie didn't do anything. For that matter, we only have your word for it that Brownie caused you to smash into the mailbox, Mr. Wilcox. I mean, if you were going faster than 25 miles an hour and lost control of the car for some reason...
Are you insinuating that I was drinking?
I didn't say that, Mr. Wilcox, but I mean...
I love the thanks I get for saving the life of your dog. I'm not going to discuss it anymore. You'll hear from my lawyer.
Just a minute.
There's somebody at the door, dear. There's somebody at the door. Never mind, I'll get it.
Mr. Wilcox, I have not refused to disclaim any responsibility.
That's right, but still... Good evening, Mrs. Piper.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Cutler.
Do you happen to know whose car is straddling my driveway so I can't get in and has also demolished my mailbox?
Your mailbox? Oh, come in. Dear. It's Mr. Cutler from across the road. It seems that Mr. Wilcox knocked down Mr. Cutler's mailbox.
The post is in splinters and the box flattened in a pancake.
Mr. Cutler's mailbox. Good evening. Mr. Cutler. I'm sorry, Mr. Wilcox and Mr. Cutler.
How do you do? Well, I don't like to be unneighborly, Piper, but if your friend here is responsible for my mailbox...
I'm no friend of the Pipers. Their dog was lying in the middle of the road. I swerved to avoid killing him.
For which we are very grateful.
Well, yes. You certainly don't sound it, if I may be frank.
Now, look, Mr. Wilcox, I can be grateful for not having my dog killed. At the same time, I don't fancy plunking out $300 or $400 to repair your car, if I may be frank.
Yeah, well, all I want to know is... who is going to replace my mailbox?
Well, we're certainly not responsible for Mr. Cutler's mailbox, are we? Not if Mr. Wilcox did it. Anyhow, if he did, Mr. Cutler's mailbox is on the other side of the road, which means that Mr. Wilcox was coming from that way, from downtown.
That's right, yes. That's right. I was coming from that way. I can't see what difference it makes, except that this gentleman's mailbox instead of yours.
Well, it makes a difference because Brownie is never on that side of the road. He never crosses the road.
Never crosses. Mrs. Piper, your dog is in our yard half the time.
Oh, he used to be. He isn't anymore. That was a year ago.
Now, my wife has said that your dog was constantly in our yard all winter long, eating up all the breadcrumbs that she put out for the birds.
Oh, now, just a minute.
Brownie certainly did not come over and eat the breadcrumbs your wife put out for the birds. Brownie doesn't like bread.
No. Well, he ate it, whether he liked it or not, Mrs. Piper. Now, both my wife and I are very fond of birds, especially of the chickadees and 2 cardinals who've been with us every winter. Until this winter, when your dog cleaned up the breadcrumbs and the suet day after day.
Oh,
Look, I'm not interested in breadcrumbs. I'm only interested in my car.
Well, I'm interested in my mailbox. And if you're the man who knocked it down, then you're responsible for it. And I would like it replaced tomorrow. And it happened to be the large size, which costs $8.50 at Rayner's Hardware.
Your mailbox, Mr. Cutler, is Piper's responsibility. It was his dog.
Well, whoever is responsible. I also want a new nameplate, which was on top of the mailbox and is now broken in half. And that costs $4.50.
I'm sorry. I just cannot be responsible.
Good heavens, there's a patrol car. The police. Dear, the police.
Hello, Ann. Ann, let me talk to Jack, will you? I need a little free legal advice. Yeah, okay.
I see some blinking lights way out there through the trees. The tow truck must have showed up.
Jack, listen. Jack, if a man's dog is lying in the middle of the road, a car comes along, swerves to avoid hitting the dog, and the car crashes into still a third man's mailbox, who is legally responsible for damages, both to the car and the mailbox. Hello? Oh.
What'd he say?
He's thinking.
Oh.
What, Jack? No, it's just happened to me. What do you mean, do I lie awake nights thinking up these things? Look, this is exactly... Huh? You don't know? Look, you're a lawyer. Uh-huh. Well, I don't know if my insurance covers something like this. I'm scared to call Mr. Reed and ask. Yeah. Okay. All right, Jack, I'll do that. Yeah, I'm sorry, thanks.
What'd he say?
Said he doesn't know what the legal precedent is in cases like this, but he said to find out if our liability insurance covers such things.
Well, now, how could it? I mean, when you take out insurance, you don't think up things like, now, am I covered if a car crashed into a neighbor's mailbox because my dog was lying in the road? I mean, how would you ever think of...
I think the new policy that Mr. Reed got for us when we thought our silverware had been stolen, I think that policy is supposed to cover all such contingencies as this.
You better call Mr. Reed bright and early in the morning.
Yeah, anyhow, Jack said if we are covered, not to worry. Then the insurance company handles the case, if it goes to court.
I'm not sure our dog was to blame.
Honey, we've known Brownie does go out and lie in the middle of the road.
Not at night. This man was awfully anxious to pin the blame on him. Awfully anxious. He may just have seen our dog running down our drive, and he needed a good excuse for losing control and crashing into a mailbox.
Yeah, I don't know. Boy, what an evening. Police asking questions, writing things down. Me that was going to bed early.
And Brownie certainly does not cross the road and eat the cutler's breadcrumbs. Really, he doesn't. What's so funny?
Mrs. Piper, when I asked you to marry me, did you have any idea that life was going to be this exciting?
No, not at all. It's been a complete surprise.
Yeah, me too.
Just the same, I don't think Brownie is to blame. And if it comes to court, I think we should stand up for our dog.
Yeah, well, we may have the chance, dear. We may well have the chance.
This is Brand Names Week. One trade label we're particularly proud of in these parts is The Couple Next Door and the listening it stands for. Another is CBS Radio Network. Both brand names just cited have passed the test of taste, your taste, and both will make every effort to deserve your continued listening support. Any maker or purveyor knows his good name is his trademark or label. Your continued confidence in the label you've always trusted is the pledge of all who make and sell familiar products with good names. The Couple Next Door stars Peg Lynch and Alan Bunce.
The Couple Next Door, part of a CBS block where they had snippets from Andy Griffith and Bob Hope, and of course they had a Bob and Ray show as well. And let's see, I'm trying to remember George. Did I mention George and Gracie? I don't know if I did or not, but they had little tidbits from all of those folks. Couple Next Door, 65 years ago, May 6, 1960, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. PegLynch.com, where you can learn more about some of Peg's writings and work. And our webpage is classicradio.stream. Tomorrow, Texaco Star Theater, Father Knows Best, Henry Morgan, and Love It Out. That's all coming up tomorrow here on Classic Radio Theater. We'll see you tomorrow. Have yourself a great Tuesday. I'm Wyatt Cox.